Much respect to Splash Magazine, and we're gonna have fun. We're gonna do the Splash Festival. Check 1, 2. What's up, world? This is John Robinson, aka Little Psy. You're tuned in right now. Splash Mag. You know, we're doing it up online style. Word up. I'm gonna go through some records that spell out some of the discography in my career. There's actually more, but we got some great ones here. This one is a 7-inch. It's called A Place Called Home. It's produced by Mr. Cooper, and it also features a legend from the UK, from London, Lewis Parker. And this record's on Project Moon Circle. Brilliant record. My verse on A Place Called Home, I pretty much laid out visually a lot of feelings that I had like growing up in New York, and just painted a picture for the listeners about my life growing up from young. And brilliant artwork as well. Peace to Gordon from PMC. This right here, Shaman Work Recordings. Peace to Shaman Work. This is actually an exclusive 7-inch that came in the repress version of Special Herbs, MF Doom, volume 456. And this is a song, There She Goes, off of the Who Is This Man album, or the John Robinson Project. And then the B-side is One Beer Remix, Mad Villain Joint. This is a very rare piece. A lot of people don't have this piece right here. Definitely a gem. Then we have here Elevation, you know? Real authentic white label style, you know? Nothing too flashy. This is actually the instrumental copy of Elevation, which is a project myself, John Robinson, aka Little Psy, and Carlos Nino put together amongst a lot of brilliant musicians and producers in Los Angeles. And this is the instrumental vibes of that. Peace to Kindred Spirits, peace to Amon Contact, peace to Flying Lotus, peace to Miguel Atwood Ferguson, Daedalus, and of course the Life Force Trio and Carlos Nino. Definitely some dope beats right there. And now we move right along. Peace to my man, Gennaro Jarrell, a.k.a. so many others, but Shape of Broad Minds. This is a brilliant record right here, and it definitely was a craft of the lost art. It's on Lex Records, and I'm featured on this album on a song called Chaos. And how it came about really was through affiliations. Gennaro Jarrell is affiliated with a good friend of mine, Rich Medina, big DJ in the States, and we met through that link, and pretty much linked pretty tough. We knew of each other's work beforehand, but we linked and decided to do some work. He was working on an album, I was working on an album at the time, and it all came together. So check for this one here, Shape of Broad Minds. Yes, the Leak Edition, Volume 2. This is some dope work right here as well. A lot of people don't know the photographer for this record is Steve Ellison, a.k.a. Flying Lotus. So all your Flying Lotus fans out there, Flying Lotus actually took the photographs for this record here in Los Angeles. And this is a record that came out on the label that I helped run, Shaman Work Recordings in the States. And this happens to be the instrumental version of the record. However, it's a record that has many different producers on it, both upcoming and experienced or classic producers. Like Flying Lotus is on the album, K Double's on the album, Authentic is on the album, Tarak is on the album, Edgar Allan Flow, Four Winds, the list goes on. Peace to Locksmith, MF Doom's on the album, Madlib is on the album, Slim Cat, so many. But Leak Edition Volume 2, this is the second installment put out to the world under the name John Robinson. There's also a Leak Edition Volume 1. This is Part 2.
And how happens to you that you change your name, your rap name?
Yeah, honestly, a lot of that came from working with Doom. When I lived in Atlanta, every time I would call Doom's house on the call ID, he saw my name, my given name, John Robinson. And he always, was like, wow, that's crazy. You don't look like a John Robinson. And, everyone was so used to calling me Psy, it wasn't normal to see John Robinson. And Doom came across some dialogue about a man named John Robinson and decided that we do a project together. And one of the things that he wanted to do was have me use my given name. And honestly, at first, I didn't think it was a good idea, but now thinking about it and looking back, it was a brilliant idea, and it unfolded very well. And to this point now, it's growing very fast, So yeah, I
What's the 45? The first life sign of John Robinson?
The 45, yeah, actually, yeah, that was the "There She Goes" song, that exclusive 7-inch. That was the first time that I put out there to the world John Robinson. So yeah, it's interesting how there's still people who are still figuring it out. Some people know Science of Life and Little Psy, but haven't figured out that Little Psy and John Robinson is one person. But it's okay. Here's a record, very fun record. My first time a year ago visiting Tokyo, Shibuya, in Japan, and peace to Groove Man Spot, peace to Planet Groove, peace to Jazzy Sport, peace to Musina. She's on the A side. And this record was fun because I was in Japan, we went to the studio, and I really didn't have any plans. I just wrote the record and recorded the record right there in probably an hour's time. And it came out great. We love the sound of it. Definitely dope producer, Groove Man Spot. It was brilliant working with him. And we plan to do some more work in the future. But the song is called Two Things. And it's a double A-side, John Robinson and Musina. Yes. Peace to Tress Records. This is Little Psy. This is actually a 12-inch that was done during my time living in Los Angeles. Peace to Tarak, too. Tarak from Detroit. He's the producer of this 12-inch, both the A and B side. And then there's a pretty dope remix of the title song, Hit Me, that was done by SP. And yeah, man, definitely a thoroughbred 12-inch, dope artwork. I'm happy with it, man. This is a classic to have in your catalog, definitely. And we move right along to a brother who I respect extremely well, not just musically, but on a spiritual level as well, man. This is a brother who I had the pleasure of working with during my times living in Los Angeles, and it was brilliant times. Dwight Tribble is a legend in his own right. Definitely some of the most powerful jazz display of vocals that I've heard, live in my face. So this record right here is a solid mark too in the Los Angeles music scene, and bridging the gap between hip hop, jazz, soul, etc., and then bringing a lot of the younger people and younger people and elders together in one form on this record. This record, it's the first time you hear, like some people know of Ross G in Los Angeles. This is the first time you hear Ross G, Obviously, I'm on this record with my brother Four Winds producing. Jay Dilla is on the record. Madlib's on the record. Carlos Nino, of course, and a lot of brilliant musicians from the Building Art Collective in Los Angeles. So, love is the answer. Definitely. Soul Uprising. That's myself and Stacey Epps. This was a crew that we formed, probably about 6 years ago now. Maybe a little more, 6-7 years ago during my times in Atlanta. And then we moved over to Los Angeles and continued this movement. And Soul Uprising, this record right here is actually the very first release on Shaman Work Recordings, very first tangible release on Shaman Work Recordings. So this was definitely a landmark as well. And it was a brilliant piece. It was a good way to segue hip-hop and soul and jazz together, and it brought a new audience. It brought a lot of, I guess, more of an older crowd to the venues. It also brought a lot more women to the venues, which I was happy about, you know, definitely, because I love doing shows, I love traveling, but after a while, it's not so great when you perform in front of just hundreds and hundreds of men every night. You know, you want to see some women too. So it was a good balance. And, you know, Little Cy, Stacey Epps, I felt like we definitely have a ill chemistry. So check that one out if you don't have it already. And then, you know what? I'll do this one first. This is 12-inch Science of Life, Metaphysics 2030. Keep On, and then it was like the actual double A side with a song called Yikes featuring MF Doom. And this is actually, yeah, this is the first time we worked with Doom on this record right here. And it was funny, he did the feature, you know, like we went to his studio in Atlanta, and he just pretty much put the rhyme together like really quickly and then made the whole feature happen, and we laid it all out rather quickly. So the chemistry was really good, and we knew that when we did this record, we would be working some more later. So yeah, this is a dope record. It's like a comic style cover designed by Inspector Willoughby, Science of Life crew. And you know, it's like a storyline, so it's pretty dope, pretty interesting and creative. And then the flip side, this is Science of Life in the streets of Atlanta, Georgia. Definitely dope record, piece to Subverse Music, piece to Big Just. This is all a part of the history. This record, we're talking 2000, 2001, so almost 10 years ago. And then here we have the second Science of Life album. It's called Project Overground, Subverse Music. And excuse me, this record, first time we featured Stacey Epps on this record here. Features my man U George on this record. Features Dub Mac. Features Jax from Binkus Records. Rest in peace to my man Jax. And yeah, this was a record that we felt it was our way of speaking a universal message more so than what Science of Life spoke prior. And the attempts was to reach more people with the truth and the knowledge and the wisdom and the understanding that we normally speak, but to bring it in a form that everyone can understand, whether or not you're into that forum or not. So this what that marked. And Project Overground was basically us making our mark and saying we're underground, but we're overground as well, because it's about time that we touch the surface and really let the music be heard by the people all over the world. So this is Project Overground right here. Peace to my man Kirk Weber on the artwork design, Dave Caselli on the illustrations. And yeah, this is some of the discography, some of the catalog. You know, it was good. Some of these records I haven't even really looked at in a very long time, so it was good for me to just go through and talk to y'all about some of these. My main thing, two things: the music and the people. That's what I focus on each and every day, each and every way. John Robinson, peace.